Sir, you are aware of SMEpost.com, and I'm sure you have seen it. And I mean, our idea is to celebrate the success of MSME in the country. Start with, now it's a budget season, and a lot of things are happening. And I believe, I suppose that MSME ministry has sent his wish list to government. What sort of out-of-the-box thinking you expect in the budget this time?
Budget from the angle of tax, that is the fiscal policy stimulus to budget, would not be very, very high. Therefore, what is the other point? The other point is that on the expenditure side, would the allotments become different or new schemes can come? But the role for that is quite limited, because if you look at the total tax GDP ratio, we have around 20%, of which large amount of revenue that will come will have committed expenditure. So the amount to play with that thing is not very, very high. So I would think we should move out from a time where budgets used to be considered epoch-making events to accepting that incremental changes will take place throughout the year. However, in between during the budget, certain changes may come. So first is that let us demystify the budgets are going to be a great change or harbinger of change. This is one point. Second point. In the MSME sector, it is not only the action that we take in our ministry is material, the action taken by various other ministries are also very, very important. Let me cite two examples. Example number one. The first example is about the defense procurement policy. In the defense procurement policy, the minister has recently made a statement that for the offset requirement, the threshold is being raised from 300 crores to 2000 crores. On one side, some of the MSME enterprise might think that, look, because of this, the total amount of offset requirement will be reduced because the threshold has been raised. But at the same time, the other way of looking at it is that since there are now the high technology, capital intensive defense procurement will have offset, this might mean greater amount of changes in the field. It is not that they were not included earlier, they were included earlier, but since the number of offset programs will come down, therefore it is possible to really emphasize on them and monitor them quickly. The second such change that has taken place is what has been done in the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion by announcing the Technology Acquisition and Development Fund. This TADF is only for MSMEs. Therefore, though in our ministry we take certain things, the other ministry's action also impinge on us. But let me come to your point straight. Are we seeking anything more in the present budget? It will not be fair on my part to divulge what exactly we are seeking, but surely we are trying to seek more support from the government on some of the successful schemes. The three successful schemes that I can immediately reel out for you. One is about the Prime Minister's Employment Guarantee Program, which is a flagship program of the government. It has been continuing forever. Second one is how to reduce or increase the access to finance, which has two aspects. One is to give guarantee, which is the CGTMSE, and the other is to do credit rating. In these two also we are seeking more money. The third one is our cluster development program, twinned with the lean manufacturing process, both of which try to focus on increasing the quality of manufacturing. So therefore, the three areas where this ministry would like to get greater support. One is the employment generation per se, which is BMEGP. The other is to reduce the excess or increase the access to the finance, which is both credit guarantee and credit rating. And third one is improving the quality, which is lean manufacturing process and cluster development. One reason may be that the listing requirement by SEBI is very, very tough. So work is going on as to whether the listing requirement can be liberalized. That has been going on. The SME listing requirement is slightly less onerous than the normal listing requirement, but there can be some more work done on that. This is point number one. Point number two is, it is true that such of the SMEs which go to the exchange, to that extent their demand from the formal sector will be less. That means they will not take banking. It is not very clear, but perhaps they will not take it. But the most important issue is, what is it that the people are not able to get their finances, or if they are getting finances, it is not adequate, or it is in time. Now the bankers try to complain that they are not getting proper loanable funds, loanable proposals before them. It is quite possible that for large number of micro and small units, their paperwork may not be very, very satisfactory. So last week we had a meeting with Sri Deepak Mahanti, who is the Executive Director of RBI. Recently, under his chairmanship, the new report has come out about the banking sector and the finances. There is one chapter, I think it is chapter 4, which was specifically for MSME units. He has certain recommendations. The point that we came to when the discussion between his colleagues and my colleagues, we are trying to tell them that if certain bankers have a specific requirement, can the requirement be re-engineered and can that be quite transparently put? So our ministry and RBI is trying to work together to A, consolidate and collate the type of requirement required by banks from MSMEs for taking a loan. The bankers are definitely not excluded from asking for loan, but at least some people will know that these are the minimum thing that is needed. Similarly, on our side, we are trying to develop a system by which the micro and small entrepreneurs who want loan will fill up about a one-page questionnaire about their requirement and a two-page description as to what they want to do. We will not try to call it a project report because it will not be a detailed project report, but the minimum type of things as to what the person wants to do. Is there a market for that? Is there a possible cash flow situation? And therefore the requirement for fund, of which he has X percentage from his own sources or somebody else, and 100 minus X coming from farm. So this type of 1 plus 2, a 3-page requirement, may go a long way in bridging the gap of trust between the bankers and the seekers of fund. Let us see how it works, but there is some amount of, let us say, you can call lack of information, lack of trust. People think bankers are not helpful, bankers think the proposal is not coming the correct side. So, there is a lot of role to be played by the government, the state government, to make sure that both of them meet. There is a demand side, there is a supply side, both these gaps can be closed.
So when is it likely?
From our side, the simplified application form is ready. We are trying to now develop some templates for that 2 or 3 page project report sort of a thing, which will say what the person wants to do. Our interest is that once this comes to our site and the applicant will suggest which are the 2 or 3 banks where he wants to take loan, we'll flush them to the respective banks. So therefore, though our beta thing is already on testing, we also want with the banks some sort of an exchange mechanism by which our information can reach them and they have a monitoring thing. So hopefully in the, let's say, first half of the next, next 6 months, we should be able to run this out. Now, you are speaking of 2 different things. One thing is to create a cluster in an area where there is transportation problem. That is one. The second one is that wherever we are creating this type of transportation corridors, can clusters come in. We have our cluster program actually tackles the people where the producers are already existing. It is not a relocation. So therefore, there could be synergy between the two, but they are not identical. The dedicated freight corridors thing, DFC, the DMIC, Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, all these have the idea that you have in mind, that first we develop the transport framework, and therefore wherever there is a transport infrastructure, can the industries come.
That is for large industries?
No, this is even for small industries. Okay. The same thing held for small. The large industry will require larger amount of land, the smaller industry will require less amount of land. But our cluster program as of now is wherever the existing entrepreneurs are already there, can they be brought together and there can be common facility center. Now both have merits, both have demerits. The demerit in relocating them to a new place is that the migration takes place. The merit in relocating them to film size is that you can de novo design the whole thing and efficiency can be harnessed. So whether one cannot be said to be preferred over the other, both are the ways on which government works on them. As of now, our cluster programs are supply driven in the sense that demand driven in the sense that people demand saying that we have formed a cluster, this is our requirement, would you like to help us? So then we go to do. We do not say that we shall form clusters among you. In the lean manufacturing system side, whoever is the implementing agency, they identify who are the people similarly situated, and there the proximity is not geographical proximity but functional proximity. Because in the lean manufacturing system, we cannot have consultant for each one of the small and medium sector. So therefore a group of 6, 8, 10 are identified, and here though geographical proximity is desirable, what is more important is there must be a functional proximity, so that whoever is the consultant can go to each one of them and advise them on the similar thing. For example, if one is dealing with textiles and another with engineering, it will be difficult for the consultant to have similarity of purpose there. So we want textile people together, foundry people together, even if they are not geographical proximity. So there, wherever the people are located, we try to form the clusters out of them.
This partly because the clusters which have come up on the road, they are doing well, and perhaps clusters which were created, not many are doing well. I mean, is it one of the reasons why?
No, I wouldn't think that there is any conclusive evidence towards that, because anybody who is looking for a common facility center, they have to be together, otherwise the common facility center will have no meaning. A common facility center can be on quality testing, can be on packaging, can be on designing. Now, theoretically one can say that my designer may stay in London but I can produce here, because design can move seamlessly on the electronic. But packaging cluster, I cannot send my thing to 200 kilometers for packaging. So therefore, the traditional idea of cluster was only geographical proximate people. The design has come recently. But on the lean manufacturing side, so I'm not aware of any study which has come up, because most clusters are geographical proximate to each other. It's very curious that you ask this, because there is no startup which is not a small, micro or medium enterprise. There cannot be a major enterprise. So by definition, all startups are MSMEs. All startups are MSMEs. Now, the way the startup has been defined in the startup policy is that it must be getting a new product or substantially new product. It must be technologically very, very on the frontier. Therefore, although all startups are micro, small or medium enterprise, all medium micro enterprise cannot be a startup. It is a subset of that. So therefore, to say that the same policy should be there for both of them is not really correct. Whereas, development of any enterprise is my ministry's thing. Enterprise, whether in manufacturing sector or in service sector. So we are always for adopting more and more ideas. In fact, we are trying to work as to whether the self-certification regime will work for about 3 environment laws and about 9 labor ministry laws. But since quite a few of the labor ministry laws are the state government also, we are also trying to involve the state government to seek their support in the self-certification thing. So let us see how it goes.
Sir,
every policy has a context. At a time when we brought in the number of sectors to be reserved for small scale industry, at that time the thinking was that if you do not reserve things of them, then they will not survive. World over, this is not so, because small scale industry sector has been very, very innovative and they survived the competition. So therefore, when in 2014 the last 20 items were de-reserved and today we have no reservation for production, I don't think it has gone to any adverse notice. Because if that were so, we would have been inundated with applications from different people saying that because the reservation has been done away with, we have been suffering. That is not so. So maybe either it has not been articulated, but it has not happened. Coming to the other side, is that in the new situation,
has it become better or worse for the micro, small and medium sector? Now it is very difficult to make such analysis because while de-reservation has gone up, many new things have come in the sense that with de-reservation, we have also increased the help that we provide to the micro, small and medium sector to help them compete. And also in the procurement side, irrespective of who produces, there are certain items which are need to be procured only from micro and small sector. So maybe that helps also. But there are no studies, and we do not have, we come to know of thing either if somebody brings to our notice and somebody says that because of this there has been some adverse effect. As of now, nothing of that sort. You see, I don't think we spend 40%, we are much closer to 60% by that point of time. And 60% in the first 3 quarters is fairly good things. I think it was up to September or October, not even the end of December. There are areas where the expenditure becomes slow. We have a World Bank project. In the World Bank project, I cannot be spending unless certain things are made. We had the steering committee meeting last week, and we know that there has been some delay in procurement. That is. But other than that, in every other sector, our expenditure have been very, very high. I think there is one, innovation and infrastructure innovation fund. Because the Atal Innovation Mission has come up, there has been slow progress because the earlier government, we had thought that the innovation fund will be housed in this ministry. But after the planning commission was disbanded, we've been trying to ask them who are the people who will be getting. So now there, it is possible that there the expenditure has not been very high. But in Prime Minister's Employment Guarantee Program, in fact in CGTMAC, with a very small corpus, our coverage is very, very, the bankers think that is over leveraged. So I would think that they were done very well. In PMHB, there is great amount of demand from different states saying that please give us more money. In CLCSS, there is great amount of demand saying that give us more money. In the cluster scheme also, each state there are some clusters, they say that our second installment has not been released because you don't have money. So therefore, to say that money is available but it is not getting spent would be a very unfair type of thing. Okay?
Thank you very much.